Okay, well, it's Die Hard 5 time. Also known as A Good Day to Die Hard. Well, that's its official title, but Die Hard 5. It's decent. It's fine. Yeah. John McClane, so characters. John McClane returns and, well, he's as good as ever, he makes a lot of vacation jokes in this, but not too many. Just a few, like 3 or 4. And, 3 or 4 is good. You would think, a lot of movies would have just driven that fucking joke into the ground 3 or 4, like they would have done it like 7 or 8 times. But no, this movie had a healthy 3, I think it was just 3. I think there was like 1, I don't know, or maybe even 2. But yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, they don't drive it into the ground like I kind of thought they would. I swear I remember them just kind of continuously doing the joke, but no, they only do it like 2 or 3 times, which is good. They don't drive that joke into the ground. But yeah, John McClane is great, as he always has been, and as he always will be. John McClane Jr. Fun fact, John McClane Jr. never spoke a word of dialogue, and really was only in the background of the first Die Hard movie until this movie. Yeah, John McClane's son never had a speaking role until the 5th movie. And of course, Lucy only had a little tiny phone conversation with her mom. So, 2 lines, I think? Let's see. Lucy McClane, this is McClane speaking, and then, and then she hands over she asks if Dad can come home, and then she hands the phone over to the nanny, and that's it. That's her entire role. And then, obviously she has a role in the 4. Sadly, though, Lucy does not, I gotta talk about John McClane, but before I talk about him, sadly, Lucy does not have a role in this movie, which is kind of sad, because she was great in the 4th movie. She was amazing, it was incredible. Yeah, she was a great part of the first movie, and now, of the last movie, and then she's just not in this one she's in it at the beginning. She drops off McClane at the airport, and then, she calls him for a little bit, and that's like half a minute. And then, at the end, her and John McClane Jr. and John McClane reunite. But anyway, back to John McClane Jr. Yes, he's only about 3.5 minutes. But back to Mr. McClane Jr., the second. He's good. He's cool. He's actually one of the better characters of this movie. This movie's not very good. It's not bad, but it's okay. Which, compared to a great franchise, okay doesn't really cut it. But yeah, he's just... He's not just okay. The movie's just okay. He's pretty good. Him and John McClane, him and his dad have a pretty good dynamic. Also, he's called Jack, probably because it kind of be weird if your name's John McClane and call your son John, but, so he's also called Jack. Jack McClane or John McClane Jr. Because for some reason, Jack and John are, kind of the same name. But anyway, what this movie is, the villain, I don't like the villain. This villain's probably the worst one of the bunch. Because, I don't know, he's definitely the least memorable. The first one, Hans Gruber is just fucking iconic. The second one was okay, I guess. The Major was a lot better than the main one. I like the guy who says, you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. That guy. I like that guy a lot better than the actual main villain. The main villain's just kind of lame in that one. Then the third one is related to Hans Gruber. And he's also kind of fun. Just like Hans Gruber. You can definitely tell he's his brother, since he's just as fun. Almost. Not just as fun, but almost. And then number 4, he's fun. I didn't remember him mainly because I think it's just been so long since I watched that movie. And you know what? That guy has over every other villain is he has the greatest death. But this guy has a good death too. My problems with him though is he's very generic. But his death scene is great. He's like, him and John McClane Jr. are there. He's like, your father's not gonna be able to see something. Like, he's not gonna be able to see the promotion of someone. And then and then John McClane Jr. is like, yeah, well, you won't either. So he throws him off, and he falls. But not only does he fall, there's a helicopter nearby, and it's spinning around, and he gets caught up in the back rotors and just gets chopped to pieces. I think he's probably the second best death. Of course, then you got Hans Gruber, who might beat him. I don't know. Hans Gruber fell from a multi-story building, but he didn't fall into a damn helicopter, so I think this guy has him beat. But then it's that guy. Yeah, who's the second guy to die from falling, to fall off a building. The second bad guy to fall from a building, but also the second bad guy to die in a way related to a helicopter crash. Or helicopter rotors, more accurately. But yeah, he's kind of just generic. There's a woman with him, too. His daughter. And she's generic also. There's a scene where she, unzips her leather thing. And it's really... I don't know. Weird thing is, it's not only is the scene just weird, it only happens... You only get a glimpse of it in the actual movie. But in the trailer, there's more of that. And I find that really odd, because it's useless in both the trailer and the movie. Why is she unzipping her leather coat in this train station? It makes no sense. But, yeah, it's more in the trailer than it is in the movie, and that's extremely bizarre. It's just really bizarre. But, I don't know why she did it, I don't know. But, I like this one. I don't like this one very much. It's definitely the weakest of the Die Hard franchise. But I'd be lying if I say I don't like this conclusion. I think this is a good place for Die Hard. This is a good place for Die Hard to end. Because the ending's very sweet. Lucy, Jack, and John all reunite. And, there's this freeze frame where they walk off and they basically kind of into the sunset. They're just... Well, they walk off... you're kind of at the side of them, and the sunset's in the background. They don't walk into the sunset, but yeah, it's really nice and sweet, and I'd say, yeah, this is a pretty good place for the John McClane character to end. He's, he had a rough patch in life, ruined things with his wife and both of his kids, and then in both these two movies, he made things up with his kids. And that's the most important part. Holly is far gone, since, that divorce, you can never really recover from that. But the kids are most important. The kids are what is important in that kind of family dynamic. And I think that's really sweet that John finally gets to win and have his kids back on his side and not hating him and wanting to shoot him and rip his lungs out. And it's nice when you have kids that don't want to rip your throat out. But what I give this movie? 5.5? Maybe 6? I'm going to go with 5. 5.5, since I can't decide between 6. I'm going to go with 5, actually. I can decide. 5.5. Actually, you know what? 6. Yes, 6. Okay. So, yeah, it's decent. It's not good. It's not bad either, but it's just okay. But, yeah, I think that's all for this time. And if you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment. And I will see you next time.